Hello everyone, are you ready for another adventure? It's me, Woki, and I'm back with another Fake Grand Order video. And what are we going to be talking about today? Well, Castoria is coming out pretty soon. By the time depending on when you watch this video, she's either going to be coming out at day roll, at login, at reset, whatever you like to call it. And she'll be here until the 20th. I've done a lot of videos talking about how good she is. And I figured because she has such a simple kit on its face value, I think it would be better if I actually just used her because I do have her, and then actually just kind of talk about my experience using her and how I feel about her. And that'll be today's video. I'm also very tired, mainly because this is like the third time I've had to re-record this just because something happened to the video quality that made it really bad that required me to set it up again. What happened was that I had my stuff set up for streaming, and streaming's bitrate is different from recording, so my recording, it looked bad. Hopefully it looks better. Let me know if it doesn't, but I'm pretty sure that it should look fine now. I'll have to tweak that a little bit later and set up a different scene collection. But anyway, that's going to be today's video. Let's get into it, shall we? So, Castoria. Everyone knows at this point that Castoria is really good. It's kind of like a foregone conclusion that Castoria is good. What is she if you're someone who's new to the game? She is the main support for arts. She's usually the one that is seen. Every arts support unit that released before and after her kind of flow around her to see how good she is. She can be used in multiple type of content. If you need her for farming, if you need her for a challenge quest, hell, if you want to set up a team that takes 1,000 turns to kill something but is literally immortal, you use Castoria as well. She is an insanely good unit. It's just assumed by anyone that she is a good unit. It can probably be a little frustrating to some new people because they'll prepare for Castoria because they'll see other people prepare for it, but not fully quite understand why she is so good. So this is the team I'm going to be using. I'm going to be on the final grind node for the event. This is a very weird and awkward grind node. These are usually mostly done at higher box ranks, so don't feel too weird, and also don't take too much stock into what my team is. This is just what effectively is able to get me done with it, and I'm done, and I'm happy to use this team. It's just basically Summer Ibuki because she's NP5. She has the max limit broken CE for the event, so she's doing 200 plus damage. And she has 2 Castorias, an Oberon, and a Creamhild in the back, just kind of soaking up Bond so I can get her to Bond 6, so I can hopefully also get her set up to fight against this. So that's a lot of talk about Castoria. Just to tell you how I feel about her, it's very obvious because, based off of that introduction that I just did, I think most players will tell you that Castoria is good. If someone tells you that Castoria is not good, then they're likely lying to you for whatever reason. She is an absolutely busted unit. She kind of sets the bar for arts. Everything around her is absolutely amazing, has stood the test of time. She is, since release, been the top unit that everyone uses in Japan, and I guess for us as well. I don't know if they would ever do that poll specific to us, but I guess we'll know in 2 years' time. But most recently in Japan, they did a poll saying, like, not a poll, but they showed the statistics saying who was the most used unit over the years, and Castoria, since her release, has been basically the only unit. Not the only unit, but she's definitely the top unit that a lot of people use all the time, just because of how good she is in a variety of different content. Her skill 3 is the main one that is the buffing by 50%, but it also can give invincibility. Her first 2 skills work wonderful with arts because arts is all about NP gain. Usually, typically, using an AoE unit is a bad idea for these type of events just because usually they don't do enough damage, and then when they kill the one enemy, they don't get a lot of NP gain back, but just because of how much Castoria is supporting Summer Ibuki here, she's able to get at minimum 20%, which is all she needs when you have Oberon here in the back. So, yeah, I think basically anyone could get use out of having a Castoria. She's absolutely fantastic, worth going for, worth having. There's like no amount of this video can go on longer than it needs to be, but I think I can cut it off at around 10 minutes time just because I have to edit it and everything. But she's absolutely one of the best units that exists in the game, bar none. The only negatives that she has is that in these specific challenge quests that I'm doing, not challenge quests, but these specific grind nodes here, you can see that I'm not able to get a lot of stars. Why does that hurt? Well, the reason is that because Castoria can't generate any stars of her own, it means that if a unit, for let's say for whatever reason, is not able to kill these big HP having bosses and such, you'll have to use your normal attacks, and because there's no crit stars coming from Castoria, it can be a little bit awkward if you're someone who you're maybe using a little bit of a weaker unit and you have to rely on crit stars to kind of help you finish the deal. And that occasionally works into play in other fights, for example, like Summer Scotty. I definitely take advantage of the fact that she drops a bunch of crit stars because she is quick focused and use them to my advantage during certain fights. For arts, Vitch is able to pump you with a whole bunch of different crit stars, so if you're lucky enough and you have enough buster stuff in a specific node, you can just pop those and then just boom, punch them in the face and you have no problem with it. But Arch doesn't really have that available to him if you only use Castoria. Now the nice thing is that it is still possible to do something with crit stars because Lady Avalon exists. And remember how I said that a lot of arts is focused in around Castoria. It can have a little bit of a warping effect. I think for some people it's mainly Tamamo fans. They don't like how much Tamamo has kind of been pushed to the side, but I'll say that I feel like they felt that way since she released. And I still think that you can use Tamamo alongside Castoria. It's just not optimal as compared to two Castorias. But her and Lady Avalon is excellent just because Lady Avalon can give something to the team that the team is missing, which is a crit star focused thing, a way to increase their crit strength if that's what you're looking for, and she can also work wonders with her because her overcharge effect, she has a way to make it so that the overcharge effect is increased. And with Castoria, that's amazing because, like I said, her Noble Phantasm, I didn't actually mention it. I'm sorry, I'm tired. It's like 5 a.m. for me right now, and I just finished working, which is why I'm doing this style of format of talking about Castoria. But her NP increases attack, but then on overcharge gives you anti-purge defense. And anti-purge defense is invincibility, but better. They made invincibility that can't be hurt by things that pierce invincibility. The only thing that can hurt them is a way to remove them. You have to actively remove them. I believe in Japan there might be a servant that is anti-purge finally, but I don't remember that, and it's also too late for me to go check it right now. But just I'm not sure of it. But there are units that remove buffs that can deal with that, and because of her overcharge effect adds more of them based off of your overcharge. So that means that when you're in a big defensive battle, you can put in Castoria and you can do one of two. You can use her one of two ways. You can put her in the front so that she can buff them with the attack boost that she gives and then get a little bit of defense on the side with her overcharge. Or you can do what I end up doing a lot of the time, which is using your big MP first and then going Castoria. You get the attack. You won't be able to take advantage of it off of the first MP, obviously, but you will be getting more defense on the follow-through, which is really nice. And I just like that they have the option there, and it's very, like, designed very well, because I like the design of, do you go for the power play and then you get a little bit more defensive but you don't have the ultimate defense because you're not going for the overcharge, or you sacrifice that little bit of damage, or do you not need the full damage and you can wait a little bit more and focus in on the defense. And I think that's a very cool thing that she has. Plus, another nice thing is that you can also give 50% to someone with this, but this also gives threat to humanity. So if you're ever fighting someone with threat to humanity, this thing basically gives 100%. And then if you have two of them, because it's 50% to arts and then 50% bonus to threat to humanity enemies, and you can have two of those being applied. So if you're ever fighting someone with threat to humanity, Castoria is definitely slapping them up for sure. But it also can give invincibility, which is something I forget about all the goddamn time. But that invincibility is super key for units like Summer Ibuki, because Summer Ibuki doesn't really have a lot of built-in defenses herself. She's all attack, and you can still use her in a lot of challenging fights, specifically because Castoria can provide the defense that she's missing, and I like the design of that, I really do. It helps a lot of Berserkers who don't have guts, or makes it so that not every berserker has to have guts if they want to stick around and do stuff, just because Castoria can help in that. Hell, Castoria can even be used with certain quick units, because I use her with quick units all the time, just because she can get 50% off of her first two skills, and the first two skills can provide a little bit of attack, but the most important thing is that it provides NP gain. And sometimes some quick units, all they're missing is just a little bit of NP gain, and that is enough for me to like put them over the top to be able to fully loop and do stuff like that. So it's great that she has that ability. Just overall, really good. The only thing I'll say here, now that I'm heading towards the end, because I've seen this asked a couple times, should I reroll if I don't have Castoria? You've just built her up for the past 10 minutes. If I don't have her, is my account just cooked? And the answer is not really, no. Castoria is 100% worth owning, worth having, and will make your life easier, but the game is designed in such a way where you don't need Castoria to win. A lot of times I feel like in certain gachas, especially if you have played a lot of gachas, it's better to, if you're free to play, I think, in some cases, discard your account if you know that you can't continue on with it because the power creep is such that you just can't keep up. Like Dokkan or something. Like, who gives a fuck if you can just start with the most recent big banner who has a really huge unit on it and kind of go from there. And I feel like that's true for, like, for Zenless Zone Zero. You can start from the beginning, but you can also just start from when Miyabi's there. Roll an account with Miyabi, and you'll be just as good because you're going to be able to clear a lot of the hard content because she's able to do it so effectively. But for Go, you don't have to really worry about that because you can do a lot of stuff. You can win the entire game with every single one of the units. You can win the game with Angura Manu if that's what you want, who is a 0-star servant. That's just the way that they like to have made the game. Likely because there's so many characters that a lot of people like that they just want it to be so that if you want to use your favorite, the only thing stopping you really is your ability. Sure, they might not be the greatest in the world, but that doesn't mean that you can't make them at least so strong that they're able to clear a lot of really hard content. They maybe won't be the best at doing certain things like grinding or doing stuff like that. Like, some units just aren't built to do that, but the fact that you can still find a use for them and use them in difficult content or something like that and do cool things like that is a definite positive. And it makes it so that if you miss on Castoria, it's fine because you can always go for her again at a later time. We have the benefit of knowing when Castoria is coming up, though I will say the next banner that she's supposed to have in Japan was the Spring New Masters Aid campaign, and if you'll remember, this year the Spring New Mastered campaign was moved to be the Back to School event. So that means that it would mean that if Castoria was going to be in that slot, we would not have her in spring, which would be around-ish before April just a little bit, but we would get her closer to when school would be coming back. So that's something to kind of keep in mind. Plus, she has an additional banner. That's why I'm not sure if it's going to happen, because there's actually two. If they move that banner forward, she is also part of the download celebration, so you'll have at least two chances to get her next year. And you'll always have a chance every year because they will always bring back Castoria. I don't think they've brought her back yet in Japan, but it's only a matter of time. They will bring her back. Just because, thankfully, she is so intrinsic to the game that everyone knows that having a Castoria will set you off a pretty good path. But at the same time, they've also know that, like, hey, we should make sure to bring them back once a year. In the olden days, FGO would sometimes not bring a unit back until 3 years later. Thankfully, you don't have to worry about this. Mainly because they know that she's good, and also, it's a Saber face. They're not going to not release their Star Girl. You know what I mean? So, that's Castoria. I wish you guys the best of luck of going for it. If you don't end up getting her, remember, like I said, there's 2 additional chances to get more chances for her. And there's no reason to re-roll your account. But if you are re-rolling, it's because you specifically are like, I understand that, Wokey. I just really like the character and would like to re-roll. I understand. Go ahead, do your thing. I personally would not re-roll, but that does not mean that you have to follow the same path that I take. Anyway, that's hopefully the end of the video. Hopefully the video doesn't look bad. I'm gonna be really sad if I finish this video and I edit and I notice that it still looks bad. But hopefully it's not too bad and you enjoyed this, like, after work chill stream. Where I just grinded the event and talked about Castoria for a bit. I'm just so tired here at the end. I'm looking forward to the weekend. I'll see you guys in the next video, whatever it may be. Till next time, bye-bye.